We're going to be joined now by our old friend Michael Ledeen. And when I say old, I use that term advisedly. Our young old friend. Michael's a foreign policy expert at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and a contributing editor of the National Review Online. He's the author of more than 20 books. Thank you for being with us again, Michael.
Well, thank you for the invite, Fred.
What's your new book that's coming out soon?
It's called Accomplice to Evil, Iran and the War Against the West.
When's it out?
Well, God willing, it'll be out in October. But it should be in the bookstores in the middle of September.
All right. Well, we'll have plenty of time to talk about it between now and then. Can you give us an update on your view of what's happening in Iran, first of all? Michael, I know that as far as I'm concerned, you know more about what's going on down there than anybody in this town. It's not in the headlines anymore here. What's your read?
Well, I'm doing well, Fred, because I was accused the other day on the front page of the Supreme Leader's newspaper in Tehran of being the inspiration behind the current insurrection in Iran.
Congratulations, man. You're even more powerful than I realized.
Yes, I think that is my right. Anyway, today is Inauguration Day in Tehran, and our hero, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, has been sworn in for a second term. And, of course, there were demonstrations against him all over Iran, and a lot of deputies from the parliament walked out when he stood up to be sworn in, and, violence, tear gas, helicopters, beatings, the usual.
I didn't catch that in the paper this morning.
Well, it's going on right now, and every night, every single night, millions of people take to the rooftops all over Iran, and they chant, "Death to the dictator, death to Khamenei," and then they chant, "Allah is great." So it's a kind of spoofing and making fun of the Islamic Republic. I mean, in my view, the Islamic Republic now is a dead man walking. It's just a matter of time before it goes.
One of the most remarkable scenes I have seen on television in a long time was that auditorium full of what they call children of the revolution, really. These middle-aged men who were a part of the revolution and formerly a part of the government in most cases that have now...
Or journalists.
Yeah, have been arrested. What's the significance of that?
Well, you can go back to the French Revolution and the Russian Revolution, and we are now in the phase known as the revolution eats its own. And the leaders at the top levels of the Islamic Republic right now are killing one another. There's hardly a day when you either don't have some plane crashing or some plane nearly crashing, and a lot of those planes are owned by the Revolutionary Guard. So you've had hundreds of people on those airplanes, ranging from Revolutionary Guards, officers, and troops to Hezbollah thugs from Lebanon and so forth, going to various events around Iran. And those planes are being blown up or sabotaged, and it's really quite something.
Michael, would it make any sense at all for the United States of America to enter into negotiations or discussions about the future of Iran with this ruling regime right now?
Only if you want to go down in history as the second Chamberlain. That's the only reason I can think of. I mean, betray all of America's values, abandon the Iranian people who are fighting for our common values, and do things. I mean,
well, even if you were an adherent of realpolitik, I mean, they're not going to. I mean, you say dead man walking, and that's certainly what it appears to be. You're putting your money on the wrong horse. I mean, where are we going to? When this happens again, we're going to be on the outside looking in with the new regime.
Yes, we may, in fact. It's very embarrassing. And as for realpolitik, the first rule of realpolitik is defend your national interests. And this regime in Iran has been waging war against us for 30 years, killing Americans, taking American hostages. They just grabbed 3 more along the Iraqi border the other day, and they're, of course, accusing them of being CIA agents. So, but we have yet to act seriously against that regime in the 30 years that they have been killing us, which is the opposite of realpolitik.
Your latest internet posting has to do with You mentioned Chamberlain and appeasement and the policies of this country. Could you elaborate on that on a little broader basis?
Yes, because we're appeasing our enemies across the board, just as in some magical buffoonery from this administration. There's hardly an ally anywhere in the world now that we have not offended with some protocol incidents of one sort or another, or some statement from some high American official. And then you look at our various enemies, and we're kissing up to all of them, whether it's North Korea or Iran or Chavez in Venezuela or Castro in Cuba. Russia, we've just canceled all kinds of weapon sales to Georgia, which I think the Russians will read as an abandonment of the Georgians.
Syria,
we're now selling weapons against Syria, and the Syrians will just pass them right on to the Iranians. It's endless. And it's so I called that article "All Appeasement All the Time," and I've really never seen anything like it. Jimmy Carter must be envious.
Elaborate on your read on this North Korean situation. I guess it may be considered small potatoes in light of everything else that's going on and the other mistakes that we have made. Do you see this? The way this was handled as a mistake or something that was necessary?
Well, I don't know what happened yet. I mean, when I know what happened, it'll be easier to answer that. The one thing I do know in this world is that you do not get hostages back without paying ransom. So the issue is, what did we pay? What did we give the North Koreans? And I wouldn't separate it from the various other American hostages that we have that are sitting in various places, above all in Iran. You know, North Korea and Iran are very close allies. They have a joint nuclear and missile program. And so it may well be that when the North Koreans saw that we paid a big ransom to get Roxana Sabari, the Iranian-American journalist that was taken hostage at the end of last year, they said, well, hey, you know, we can get things from the Americans. So they grabbed a couple of journalists themselves, and it remains to be seen what we did for them. I don't believe for a minute that they did all of this just because they had a photo opportunity with Bill Clinton.
Now the Iranians are watching this in turn and calculating themselves what they can do with regard to the 3 Americans that they recently took.
Well, the Iranians think they've got us. I mean, the statements out of Iran about American foreign policy, they just say, and there's a lot of good reason for them to say it, that all Obama wants to do, he's just begging for a dialogue. He's just begging to talk to them. And they say he's accepted the nuclear program, and all he wants to do is talk. So they think they got him right where they want him.
Michael, it appears that the White House Press Secretary Gibbs has just retracted calling our friend Mahmoud, as you would say, the elected leader of Iran. Are they getting a little feedback? Are they getting some pushback on them not acknowledging anything that's going on about the folks that have protested and died in the streets of Iran?
Well, you know, he only made it worse. He said, well, you know, he's the inaugurated president. He's not the elected president. But, you know, he's inaugurated on a day when the Iranian people are dying in the streets. And Gibbs said, after all, it's up to the Iranian people. So it couldn't be more clear what the Iranian people think of it.
After all, it's up to who's got the most guns,
well,
in effect. Michael, thank you very, very much. Very insightful, as usual.